My work is busy because I work actually in the slums, and one of the biggest slums in sub-Saharan Africa, which is based in Nairobi. The population is 2 million. 90% of the people I work with are not employed. Specifically, I work with the children who we look for how they can be put in schools so that they have the opportunity to learn, because in the slums there are no enough schools and it's very expensive to be in school in Kenya. I don't only work with children, but I also work with people who are infected with HIV/AIDS. So what we do is to make sure that they access treatment, but they also cope with any disease. There should actually be a mechanism of coping mechanism, involving them for counseling and linking them where they can get further management. We also work with people with cancer, so that when they develop cancer is after they had already had HIV and AIDS. So with cancer, we help them to get treatment to reduce pain, because most people with cancer, when they come forward in the last stage, because cancer does not pain. So we do education. We also look for support for many other programs within the communities, like small group, women who are working with the people, women who are giving care and they don't know how to get the money. We look for people to give them support. We build the capacity. Building the capacity means that we give them training so that they're able to know what they're doing well, able to know how to write a report, able to know how to do mobilization, able to know how can they resource for funding so that they can be sustainable. So basically this is what I do.
And the problem with HIV and AIDS, I mean, how is it getting better? Is it getting worse?
HIV is a fluctuating problem. When we started working in HIV and AIDS 20 years ago, the percentage in the slum was 25. With the country population, the percentage was 15%. Now, for 10 years, it started getting better until Kenya realized the percentage 6%. But because of the many things which have happened within the country, like there are clashes, there are always people moving from place to place, you find like in one area it is getting down and one area is getting up. So now there are areas like where I work in the slum, we have been able to reduce the privilege to 14%. When we started working, it was 25. The country percentage is now at 5.5, which is, for us, is getting better. But when more older people are getting infected, it means a small threat to the families and to the children. So for me, I think when we are going to say that it's getting better is when we will see 0%, that maybe we'll have nobody in the country with HIV and infection, new infection, because already we are managing people with old infection and new infection.
And when you talk about slums, how big an area is a typical slum?
Okay, the slum where we work, the population is what gives us how big the area is, but it's actually in terms of square meter, it's a very small area. We have about 1.8 million people in a very small area. There's too much over congestion, but because of lack of resources, lack of land, lack of where to go, lack of employment, they are just there.
So you're over here in England, and what is it you're doing over here at the moment?
First of all, I also came here to follow up on my registration, because we've been trying to follow up how we can expand Kikoshep in terms of facilitating resources. That's why I was here to follow it up. But I was also here to visit my daughter, who has a renal problem.
And you went to a school and Stanford-le-H, I believe, primary. You went to speak to the school. Was that a good experience talking to the pupils?
Yeah, it was a good experience, particularly talking to the children, because they really talk from their heart, and they're really talking things which are very natural. And I always get very happy when people talk natural things, because they're asking genuine questions and things children really need to know. Like they ask me, Do you have snow in your country? I think that's very important for a kid. Again, they ask me, what's the kind of food you eat? Do you have electricity? So I thought it was a good time. And they also asked me about, do you have a queen? Do you have a king? Do the children there play with the PlayStation? Yeah, which is not happening in my country. And I think how they look at life is different. And it was a good opportunity for me.
You mentioned having a queen because Kenya was part of the empire, the British Empire,
Yes,
or
yes.
the Commonwealth, or the Commonwealth of Nations. So is there still a feeling of a link with Britain?
There's so much linkages between Kenya and Britain because we still believe we were together at one point, and we are so much linked. Kenya, our national language is Swahili, but people tend to talk more English. And we follow the system almost like the British people, the driving, the culture. We tend to just be together. And I don't see us separated from the British people. We are so much linked together.
So what's, regarding your work back in Kenya, what's on your wish list?
Yeah, my wish list, I have a big wish list, but I can remember some. One of my wish lists is how people can help me to set up a bigger school, because now we have a school which we used to have about 500 kids, but now we have about 377 because the school is on the railway line, and the government is now going to pull down the school and build a new railway line. So my first in the wish list is how we can remove that school and put it somewhere so that the children who are educating should actually not come out of school, because we have half of the children are coming to school free, half of the children we charge them very minimum so that we can sustain the school. That is one thing in my wish list. Another thing in my wish list is how can we support the staffs of Kikosha who are working to make the program running, because now I'm here, people are there. I really value them because if they're not there, then I have no work. And therefore there's no Kikosha, but they need support. They have their own life, they have daily life, they have rent to pay, they have children to put in school. They actually have to have a normal life. So supporting their organization in terms of their organization support. And I also think like we need to do more things. We need like to have like a school bus because the children need to travel. Oh, another thing in the wish list is to strengthen the exchange program between the children in Kenya and in the UK. There's something in my wish list which I always think is a priority is the feeding program. Because children in the slums sometimes they miss 3 meals, they have like 1 meal. And in the school we have been running 2 meals, breakfast and they get a lunch. But we also work with children who have no anybody at all. Those are the children we call the child-headed home. The child-headed home, they stay in school and do their homework in school. So actually they stay with 2 teachers. They have a big library, they work in the library, and they take home already packed food. So that's a project we really want to sustain, because before we were getting food from the World Food Program, but now they are not able to continue because they have been giving us food for some time. And our donor withdrew, and not only for Kikosha, we have 50 schools with the donor withdrew. So those are some of the things I can remember in the wish list, but we have many, many things in the wish list.
Okay, Anne, thank you very much.